What's going on, everybody? It's Shockey here, one of the senior editors at lrmonline.com, bringing you this week's episode of The Cantina. Now, you're probably wondering, where the heck is Cam and Kyle? And I can tell you this right now, they've left. They're done. No, I'm just kidding. We gave them a week off. They've been working really hard for the site, on top of their normal things that they've been doing. Kyle's a little under the weather, so I told him that I'd be taking over for this week. And you know what? Who better else than me, the number one Star Wars guy on the site? Nah, I'm just kidding about that too. Everyone's a passionate Star Wars fan here at LRM. Not everyone, but most of them. So let's get right into it. Let's not wait any longer. We got some interesting news this week dealing with the Cassian Andor series. So originally, when the Cassian Andor series had been mentioned and, filming had started production, middle of 2020 during the pandemic, it seemed like it was going to be a one-shot limited series. It seemed like that there wasn't much of a story to tell, right? You thought we got pretty much Cassian's story in Rogue One, maybe just we got a little bit more of a backstory in this series, and that would be it. Well, information this week has kind of changed that, and now what we're looking at now is maybe that we're looking at multiple seasons of the Andor series. Okay, so we know that the Kenobi series is a limited series. It's a one-off, and then that's it. And I'm super excited. That's probably the show that I'm most excited to see as a Star Wars fan. The Andor series is interesting for me because it's more of a spy series, and it's something that I think that Star Wars in general, at least in the film and in television medium, has not really explored too much. We've done the Jedi, of course, we've done the Sith, we've done the bounty hunters, but we really haven't done like the rebel spy yet. And so now that we're getting kind of a full season and full series of the Andors, with Cassian being, the main character, that kind of intrigues me to see how this is going to play out. So while Rogue One was kind of that spy/action movie, it really wasn't into the spy set of it. So this is going to be interesting to see. Now, why are we saying multiple seasons of Andor? Well, if you remember watching Rogue One, of course, the buddy of Cassian Andor was the droid K2SO. It's a little of a tongue tie for me today, played by Alan Tudyk. Okay, well, just this week on an interview with, I believe it was Collider, let me double check on that, but he basically said that he is not going to be in season 1 of, let me double check, confirms, with Collider. I want to make sure I get my sources correct here. He confirmed that he is not going to be part of season 1 of the Andor series. Now, good, bad, it depends. If you were a big fan of K2SO, then this could, be a little bit of disappointment for you. He definitely brought the comedy for Rogue One. He kind of gave it a little bit of lightheartedness to the movie, and so I thought, and most fans would probably think that having Alan Tudyk and his character of K2SO was going to liven the show up. But who knows? Maybe we'll see him at the very end. Maybe this is the story of how Cassian comes into play and captures the K2SO and converts him over to being a rebel instead of an Imperial droid. And it'll be an interesting plot to it. Another piece of information that came out too is Riz Ahmed basically said, through the Hollywood Reporter, is that he doesn't see himself coming back as Bodhi Rook either. Now, this one I'm not surprised at, because Bodhi's character basically, while important in Rogue One, had nothing to really do with Cassian, and pretty much said, that it is peace in Rogue One. And if you think about it, he's part of the Empire prior to this. He defects, okay, when, he's given the information about the Death Star and where to locate it, so that doesn't surprise me. Now, all this put into play makes us think that now we're probably going to get multiple seasons of Andor, okay? What was kind of played out originally when we go back all the way to, what was it, Star Wars Celebration, 2019, when they announced the Andor series, that it seemed like it was going to be a one-off along with the Kenobi series. But now we're getting it seems like we're going to get multiple seasons of Andor with Diego Luna as the main character of Cassian Andor. So that's good. I like it. I think that's, more Star Wars is good for me. Now, I know some people will say, too much Star Wars, and then you're going to get bad stuff, and you're going to get, things that you're not going to like. Well, that's okay. I'm a person that will take as much Star Wars as possible. You have to remember, at least from my perspective, being born in the early 80s, there was, I missed out on that window of seeing the original Star Wars movies in the theaters, so I had to watch it on basically VHS. That was my excitement until the release of Star Wars in the mid '90s. And so there's the 80s and 90s where all I had for Star Wars were the novels and comic books. Okay. And so that pretty much was it. In video games, when Nintendo, Super NES, and so forth. So for me, I'll take it. Throw as much Star Wars my way as possible. I'm not going to say I'm going to love everything. Okay. But I'm going to appreciate it. Okay. So multiple seasons of Andor, I'll take it, especially if it's going to go into the spy series. If we're going to see something maybe not as extreme as, a James Bond with Daniel Craig style, but maybe more of a Pierce Brosnan, type of James Bond and that type of spyness with Diego Luna, I'll take it. It's another layer to the Star Wars realm that I don't think we've seen yet, and I think that it's going to be something interesting. It's maybe not for everyone, but it will be for someone, and those who are maybe tired or overwhelmed with all the Jedi and Sith stuff going on, then this might be something a little bit different here. So we'll see. Maybe Lucasfilm and Disney are very tight-lipped on how many seasons we'll get, or if it will be multiple seasons, or what the story is. And if we hear anything, we'll let you know first off, just kind of like the other things we've kind of broken out, and so we'll go from there. Other piece of news was the announcement that Lucasfilm Games. I'm having trouble today talking. Geez, Louise, should have wrong week to take over for the Cantina. But anyways, Lucasfilm Games has been revived, okay? And now they're going to oversee all these Star Wars games for all different platforms, which is great, okay? I think that this adds the much needed oversight that was, from the past, I would say, 5 years or so, even probably more, 10 years of Star Wars video games that we really needed. So as you guys should know, Electronic Arts, otherwise known as EA, has had the exclusive rights of making Star Wars games, I think now for a good solid, 5 years, if not more. Okay, so we've gotten classic games like the original Battlefront, Battlefront 2, then the remake Battlefront 2, which the remake Battlefront 2 has its issues when it first launched, but now it's one of the best Star Wars games there. Then you have Galaxy of Heroes, which is the mobile game that has had more controversy than anything else in the way it's been handled. Not necessarily through EA, but just through the developers that are working on it, through its users. And if you don't know anything about it, just go YouTube Arnold T101, his YouTube channel. He does everything Galaxy of Heroes, and you could just go back through, I would say, about 2-3 months worth of stuff that is just, things that were issues between the players and the actual, developers of the game. So it's on the up and up. It's getting better. That's a good thing. But then really, besides that, we got the Rogue Squadron game, which was okay. I've played it probably a total of maybe like 30 hours, and that's it. It to me, it lost its kind of lore to it and stuff after about that. Initially, I was hyped about it, and then that was it. And there's been little tidbits of other games. We got Jedi Fallen Order, of course, that came out now a year ago, just over a year ago. And that, of course, was one of the best Star Wars games that we've ever seen, especially with lightsaber play. Now, with Lucasfilms taking over, EA still will make more Star Wars games, but they will not have the exclusive rights. Okay, the announcement last week was that Bethesda will be making an open world Star Wars game, and so many people are wondering what it could be. Could it be kind of similar to Jedi Fallen Order, or is it more like an Old Republic style PC game? Are we looking at a bounty hunter game? There was the 1313 game that was way back in the early 2000s that was supposed to be kind of a Boba Fett origin story video game that got shelved. Are we going to see something like that, exploring Coruscant? Are we going to be able to travel from different planets and so forth? It will be interesting to see, but that news alone basically put a kick in the ass to EA. And shortly after Bethesda announced that, EA comes out and says, look, we're making more Star Wars games. No one's going to take it away from us. And I think that's good. And because of that, now little bits of tidbits have been coming out that the actors from Battlefront 2 are now kind of teasing that they're going back to work. Could we see a Battlefront 3, the elusive Battlefront 3 that was, from the original series was supposed to happen, but then got shelved? There's still so much in the Battlefront community that, the gamers want. Now that we have a new consoles with PS5 and the new Xbox SEX, then the possibilities are enormous. So while some people were hesitant with Lucasfilm Games taking over, most are happy about this, and I'm with them on it. Okay, competition is good. That's the one. You have competition, you're going to see everyone kind of step in and put together their best forward. When you have something like EA had, they're going to put their product out, and unless there's a real big outcry from the community, they're not going to change anything. So we saw that with Battlefront 2. EA put out a pretty terrible game right off the bat, and then the loot crates, that's its own controversy in itself. And so it took the community to really step up its whole ordeal. Now, what does that mean for the other developers and other gaming communities? You probably see more mobile games come out. Lego Star Wars will be coming out shortly enough, the Skywalker saga, but who knows? Maybe we'll get a Clone Wars, style of Lego Star Wars. That would be something that I would really be interested in, is having a bounty hunter game coming out as well, which I think we'll get eventually with the popularity of the Mandalorian and Boba Fett. I think that we're all basically going to see pretty much, everything that we know of, in the Star Wars realm coming out in video game era in some form or fashion, whether it's PC, console, mobile, we're going to get it. So I'm very happy with all this. The news is great. That I'm looking forward to. So, and, for a person who hasn't gotten a new console yet, now, once we see the announcements, when we see the new Star Wars game, that might, be the thing that takes me over the edge and get either a PS5 or Xbox new console there. All right. Last bit of information. This is something that has been going around now for the past couple days, and it all deals when Liam Neeson was given an interview, and the question came up was, would he come back as Qui-Gon Jinn? And of course he's going to say yes. Of course he's going to say yes in a heartbeat. I would do it. Call me up and everything. And so now it's gotten the, kind of rumors buzzing is, will we see Liam Neeson reprise his role as Qui-Gon Jinn in the upcoming Kenobi series? Okay, and it's been kind of quiet, and there was no announcement from the Disney Investors Day dealing with Kenobi. Really, the only major announcements with the Kenobi series was the announcement finally that we got. We've been running with this story for so long, but that Hayden Christensen will be reprising his role as Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader. We know the role, or at least I know how much of that role is going to be part of the Kenobi series, but I don't want to spoil it for you. That's the one thing. I don't mind, sharing casting news. I don't mind sharing little bit tidbits here and there. But when it comes to spoiling the actual, the premise behind the show, that's me. I kind of hold the line on and stuff. And so you can, comment about that and make fun of me for all of whatever. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. So, but yeah, we know the amount of that Hayden Christensen will be. Now, Kenobi, I do know that the focus, of course, is what Kathleen Kennedy said, is that it's going to be between Obi-Wan and Anakin. It's kind of like there's still a lot of, stuff to hash out between the two. Okay. And so this is where putting Qui-Gon in there is going to be very tricky. Okay. So I don't know, and I'm working on it to see how much of it, but I will say this. More than likely, we will hear Qui-Gon, but we will not see Qui-Gon. Okay, so Liam Neeson has made it plenty known before, okay, that he has come in and done voice work for the animated Clone Wars series, where he did I think he's credited with 3 episodes of reprising the role as Qui-Gon Jinn. Okay, there's only been one time where we actually saw Qui-Gon from, Afterlife. Okay, I think it was season 3 or season 4 of the Clone Wars, when Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka, are on the unknown planet of the Force world, and Anakin sees the vision of Qui-Gon, and Qui-Gon asks him, does he believe he is the chosen one? Okay, and then later on, you see Obi-Wan see a vision of Qui-Gon, and so Liam Neeson reprised that role. Where I think it's going to be more in play is if you go to season 6 of the Clone Wars, when Yoda is traveling and learning how to become, one with the Force, and kind of a presence afterwards. What you saw there from Qui-Gon was his voice. You didn't see his physical presence. And the story was that Qui-Gon was already learning how to be one with the Force after life and continue on, kind of guiding, kind of an ancestral spirit, if you want to call it that. But he died before his training was complete, of course, by Darth Maul. Now he kind of guides Yoda, but through voice only, which was, of course, Liam Neeson. Now, I do know that the focus of the Kenobi series will be focus between Anakin and Kenobi. It's unfinished business. Okay, it would be great to add Qui-Gon in there. Okay, but I think it's going to be with a balance. Okay, to not take away from what Kenobi and Anakin's, that relationship and that focal point of the series will be. Okay, so we do know at the end of episode 3 that Kenobi is sent by Yoda to train and kind of learn the ways of the Force, of becoming, part of the Force after life. Okay, so could that be? And when we get at the end of, that in that little scene 2 of episode 3, that Yoda says he still has much to learn from his old master, Qui-Gon. So I do think that we will hear Qui-Gon, and that won't be difficult to do. Liam Neeson could easily get the script, go into a studio, record, his lines, and they add it into the Kenobi series without having to do any type of flying out there or anything, to do actual filming. That's the easy route. If they really want to go for the home run and have Liam Neeson reprise his role as Qui-Gon and physically see, that's something as well. I know there's some rumors flying around that, some of the flashbacks that have been mentioned, that will focus on the Clone Wars, that some people are saying, well, now you're going to get flashbacks dealing with Kenobi and Qui-Gon. The only problem with that is the de-aging process that you're going to have to do, make, Ewan McGregor look young again, Liam Neeson look young again, and do all that. I don't know if that's in the budget. I don't know if that's really worth it and all that. So could it be? Maybe. Could it not? I don't know. I would rather see the journey. Then this is me just talking here. Nothing really tied to the show, but I would like to see Kenobi making that journey just like Yoda did, similar to what we saw in the Clone Wars, learning the ways of the Force, but being guided by Qui-Gon. Maybe, a scene, where you get the physical presence of Qui-Gon, but just the voice alone, I think, will be enough. Because I'm really super excited between, Hayden Christensen reprising his role as Anakin and Darth Vader, and then also, too, seeing Ewan McGregor back as Kenobi. That lightsaber, duel in episode 3, of course, is the all-time greatest. And so, to me, I don't want to. It's not that I hate Qui-Gon. He's one of my favorite Jedi. I just don't want it to take away from the core of the story there. So we'll see if we hear anything, and it's something that doesn't really bring out the whole, story-wise that I can share with you. I will definitely share with you either here on the Cantina with Cam and Kyle, or on lrmonline.com. So I'll let you know when I find anything out. But that's it. Star Wars news-wise, there's plenty more we could go into, High Republic and so forth. But listen, you guys got things you got to do. I got things I got to do. Let's, take it back. Maybe I'll join up, and maybe we can do this more video format of the Cantina. I'm going to try to pull Kyle's arm and try to get him more into doing video formats for you guys, so you can find us on YouTube. You can find us on SoundCloud. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Twitter. all those. Make sure you follow us. Make sure you subscribe. We're trying to do our best. We got big things planned. Okay, we're going through, we're trying to take us to the next level here. We're building a community here. Okay, we're not just a normal news outlet. We want to build something bigger than just being a news outlet here for you guys. And that's what we're here for, is to do this all for you guys. So check us out. I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you later.